Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing all things related to finance and investing when it comes to beating inflation. So inflation, the silent killer, what do you need to know? Today I've got 4 good tips for you on how to lower inflation in your portfolio and drive up returns. Here on the screen you actually see Warren Buffett. I've talked about him many times on my channel, and today we're going to be going over some of the tips he uses himself, and I'm going to provide some commentary on this to beat inflation. So tip number 1, invest in stocks. So if you look down here, you'll see he's talking about, invest in stocks. Stocks have historically outpaced inflation and provided higher returns than other asset classes like bonds or cash. But be sure to invest in good companies that have a history of steady earnings growth. So steady earnings growth, what does that mean? So your Cokes, your Home Depots, your IBMs, your 3Ms, those companies that are household names. If I looked around, I started walking around my house, I'd see some of those sitting there. They have the ability to raise prices and stay competitive in a high inflation market. So number 2, buy a low cost index fund. So a low cost index fund is something like a QQQ, an SPDR, or ETF. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an index fund, it could be an ETF. For a couple reasons. 1, they provide instant diversification, so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Number 2, it helps reduce risk. And number 3, they often have lower fees, which can increase returns. So on this channel, I've talked about reducing fees and boosting returns. So keeping your fees or your expense ratios below that 0.10 or that 10 basis points of what you're paying. So for every dollar that goes out, 10 cents goes to the fund. Or I'm sorry, not 10 cents, 1 cent goes to the fund. But some brokers will charge you 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever. You want to get it down to that 0.10 or lower, and index funds and ETFs have the ability to do that. So keep an eye on that. Number 3, invest in companies with pricing power. So if I look here, this is what he's talking about. So he's advocated for owning business, have high returns on capital, invest in the business. Businesses with low capital needs are able to maintain their earnings and raise prices. So they are able to raise prices without losing customers. Think of companies again like Coca-Cola. No matter how high the price of Coke gets, people are probably still going to buy it. Coke's sold all around the world. It pays Buffett hundreds of millions of dollars in dividends just to hold it, and they're able to raise their prices without losing customers. So it's very, very important. The other thing you want to look at is it doesn't necessarily have to be publicly traded companies in that aspect when you're looking to invest in companies with pricing power. It could be a franchise, it could be a Chick-fil-A, it could be a laundromat, it could be a dry cleaner, it could be a vending machine business. I mean, any of those, they're able to raise their prices without losing customers. So if you think about it, you go to Chick-fil-A, and I'm just using that as an example. When's the last time you saw Chick-fil-A that was completely empty? They're busy all the time, and I can tell you over the last year when I went to Chick-fil-A, the pricing has went up, but the lines have still remained even higher. So Chick-fil-A is a very good business to own during a time of inflation. And this gets me into point number 4. So investing in real estate. So again, I'm going to link it up here to one of my videos that talks about how to invest in real estate, how to get into real estate. And I'm going to be doing some more of those videos throughout the remainder of 23. But when you invest in real estate, it's really just another asset class that has historically outpaced inflation. So you can invest in real estate directly by purchasing a rental property, so a house, a single family unit. It could even be mobile home. It could be through a REIT. So that's actually the second way I was going to say is you can indirectly invest through a REIT. There's even other websites, here.co, which I've talked about before, Fundrise, which I'll put a link in the description down for my affiliate link if you want to sign up for that. There's several different ways you can invest, and it really just depends on how much risk you want to take on. Do you want to be partnered, do it to an LLC? Do you want to be completely hands-off? Do you want to be more hands-on? It really just depends on your risk tolerance and how much how much time you want to put into it, what you want your cash on cash and your returns to look like. So just keep an eye on that. And then the last thing I want to go over is, it's always a good time during times of high peak inflation to step back like Buffett does and talk about what your portfolio looks like, how much you have in cash, how much you have in stock, how much you have in real estate, how much you have in venture capital. Could be alternative investments, think wine, think art, any of those. It's always a good time to make sure, especially now that we're starting 23, to make sure that your financial future is planned out, it's mapped out, because the only one that's going to get you there is you. So there you have it, folks. There's just a few simple steps you can take to beat inflation and secure your financial freedom. Remember, investing is a long-term game. I know everybody wants the get-rich-quick scheme. Everybody wants to make money now. They don't want to wait. But again, if you just take some money and in this case, you put it into a low-cost index fund, say $500 a month, and it had a low expense ratio, say lower than 10 basis points. You put the 500 in there for 30 years, you're going to be a millionaire. It's not instant, but it's steady, it's dependable, and it's kind of boring. And that's another tenet of what Buffett does, is he invests in boring businesses. But as always, do your own research, consult a financial advisor. I've talked about financial advisors and how I feel about them on this channel. I have a couple shorts, and I've got a couple other videos on it. But make sure you consult a financial advisor before making any investment choices. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.